So the final presentation of the day is you're forced to listen to me. And much as I've been threatening it repeatedly, I'm not going to inflict Garland karaoke on you. So instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to do a presentation on 10 creative ways to use data in your presentations. So I'll just start my screen sharing here in a moment. How many of you use data in your presentations now? Is it quite common for you? What kind of data do you put in your presentations? John says rarely. Well, maybe after you see this, you'll see some other opportunities. Oh, volunteer statistics. Okay. Stats. Yes. Fire data. Oh, okay. Interesting. Percentages. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Just it's a little slow opening my PowerPoint because it's after the computer was shut down entirely. Of course, everything is slow. Pretty much every presentation, Renee says that Renee does data. Stats about clutter or disorganization. Ooh, one of my favorite topics. Employee survey results, Lorna says. And are any of you currently using the tools from PresentationPoint, things like DataPoint or dynamic elements or anything for your presentations, for your data in your presentations? Chantel says financial data from clients that needs decluttering. Someone says, unaware of tools, please explain. Oh, cool. It's always fun when we get new people. So I'll be explaining them during the presentation, but also we're going to have a presentation tomorrow on some of the data tools. So, okay, let's start by sharing. And can you see my first slide all right? Awesome. Let's get started. So topic today is 10 creative ways to use data in presentations. So data can be very critical to what you're doing. Data provides real-time support. It provides evidence for for the presentation you're trying to make. If you're trying to sway somebody's opinion, change somebody's mind, provide them with information, data is critical in all of those cases. Data can be used to identify problems. It can be used to help you, extrapolate future trends. So data is really key. It's something that we all, need to be using a little more often in many cases. But straight numerical data is kind of boring unless you're an Excel geek. It's kind of boring to just look at nothing but a table of numbers, and it's hard to get what you need out of just a table of numbers like this. So that hasn't worked very well for us in presentations, just to provide tables of numbers. So charts and graphs are a big improvement. They're visual. You can follow them easier. A pie chart is great to show a share of something. A bar chart works well to, show a trend, show which way are sales, are they going up and down, which way are profits going. So these are quite useful, but they've been used so long that they're kind of overused as well. So charts and graphs, while a little better than just straight tables, then it's getting boring as well. So what's that next level? How do we get beyond tables and charts? How do we do something different? How do we do something exciting? How do we make our presentations that include data to work for people beyond just data geeks? And by the way, nothing wrong with data geeks. We need them in the world. They're very important people. They're the people that help us analyze our businesses and analyze what's going on. But we need to get the data into formats and systems that the non-data experts can relate to. So I'm going to give you 10 ways to do this. And the first one, you've probably come across these before, and it's a huge one, is infographics. So what's an infographic? Here's an example here from the US Department of Agriculture. An infographic is basically a graphic data story. So it's kind of cool here. So it talks about USDA toughened standards when it comes to salmonella and poultry. It says 1 million Americans get sick from salmonella. 19% of that, or about 200,000 a year, is attributed to chicken and turkey. So tougher standards could help us prevent about 28%, maybe 50,000 cases. And it says 80% of the chicken that Americans feed their families with is in the form of parts. So they wanted, the new standards would just target chicken breasts, whereas I think the old standards were targeting like an entire chicken. And then they had a reminder here. So when you think about this, it's kind of a thing of beauty. It leads you through what they're proposing, why it's important, the data behind why it's important, what their solution could be, some information about how we're using that, and a solution is all right here, all data, all connected, all in one graphic. That is, to me, it's a thing of beauty. It's a very visual way of presenting data. And you could put all this information in the table, you could put all this information in just a straight text writing, but it wouldn't have the same impact as an infographic would. Now, how do you do these infographics? Well, of course, you can hire a graphic designer. There's tools out there such as easel.ly or Canva, which make them really easy to create. I've used easel.ly, and they've got a lot of templates there you can start with, which are great ways to be able to do this. Of course, you can hire somebody, you can outsource it. Another cool idea as well is we actually have a tool called DataPoint where I could connect any one of these numbers, any one of these graphics, I could actually connect it to a live data point, which could change in real time. And that's a really good point, Myrna. It's like pictographs. Pictographs were the original infographics, and they told a story in much shorter than the text could, or the scrolls, or trying to use a chisel to carve stone out. So that's one way. What's another? So you can also use live data in your presentations and what you're doing. And the cool thing here is PresentationPoint is over 10,000 clients worldwide. So we've got tons of clients using data in presentations. So we can tap a lot of different real case studies. This is Sotheby's Auction House, which is one of the oldest auction houses in the world, and one of the most important ones in the world. And what they're doing here, this is a PowerPoint. It has a picture of the item. It has the current bid in the currency where they're holding the auction. And they're also showing all the different currency conversion rates. And so this is PowerPoint, which most people will go, well, how does the PowerPoint keep updating? It's actually connected to a Microsoft Access database using our DataPoint tool. And DataPoint is actually a tool that connects a PowerPoint to almost any source of data, almost any source, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet or Access database or a number of other areas. So that's the second way, is get some live data right in what you're doing. Social media is data. This is why Facebook is free, Facebook and Twitter and all these places, because they sell your data. So this is how they're making money off you. They sell your data, they sell advertising. And this is why if you happen to, do a search for kittens or something like that, you'll all of a sudden get a whole bunch of ads relating to, cat accessories or things like that, or books on how to raise kittens and stuff like that. So social media is data. So start to think of, okay, well, how can I connect my social media to my presentations? So here's an example of where you could have your Twitter feed actually showing up in your social media. And you can take that a step further by even gathering what people are saying about a live event. So here's an example of a live event where people are tweeting with a certain hashtag, info needs. So what would happen is that feed would continually update. So they could be running it between presenters. It would also encourage people, like if you see the screen where all these people are tweeting about how much they love it, it kind of makes you love the event more, and you want to also tweet because you go, well, I should put something in my social media. So this increases your engagement. It increases your reach with what you're able to do that. Okay, a fifth way, real-time polling. Now you have to be brave to put this out there, but what if in real time you could get people's feedback on a topic? Say, well, what does everybody think about? And then maybe everybody in their smartphones pushed a button. They said yes or no, or gave you a number or something, and it had updated right on your screen. You could even be really brave and imagine asking a question at the beginning of your presentation and then at the end to see, did you change anybody's mind? Did you sway them? If 20% of the audience was in favor before and at the end 40% were, then you've actually had a big impact. So that would be quite interesting. And Myrna, that's a really good point. People love to see themselves on screen. So of their Twitter post on screen, they'd love to know that they had a hand in that vote, that they were one of the people who actually made that polling happen. Yes, so people love that level of engagement that we can do. It's another level of engagement. Number 6, dashboards. So dashboards are really kind of interesting. You can actually connect PowerPoint to real-time data that's out there. So what's going on? How many attendees are at your event? How many cups of coffee were drank at the event? What's happened? What are your sales figures up to date? You can add all of that information into your presentations and have them updated live so that you're able to keep this information going there. And a dashboard, I mean, the reason we have car dashboards is it shows you at a glance what's going on. How fast are you driving? How many kilometers have you traveled? How much fuel do you have? Is your engine overheating? Is there, the check engine light on? So that's at a glance, it's meant to give you so that you can see what's going on. Similarly, you can have a dashboard for your business. You can be setting it up with key performance indicators. You can have these kinds of things showing in real time. 7, you could be showing up in a live event schedule. So here's an example of what Cattle Annie's had put together. So what they did was they had an Excel spreadsheet with the pictures and the dates and the concert name and the band name and that kind of stuff there, and it would automatically update and it would automatically scroll through their events. Now the cool thing is if the tickets sold out entirely, the data system knew that and would slap a sold out stamp right on the screen there so people could see it sold out. Or you could put on something, only 10 tickets left if you wanted to get people to sign up and finish. So that's another way to build data into your presentation. Number 8, this is an interesting thing that happened with a school who was using one of our tools. So the school had students from around the world attending, and at their graduation, they wanted to show some information about each student, where they're from, and some, just some additional information. And so they put together just a really simple Excel spreadsheet with the pictures and the information, and then they were able to have it automatically show up in a PowerPoint and grab the new information. The great thing is when they do this next year, they've already got the database set. They just need to repopulate it with the new student's information. So that's an example too of where this database, use of data entry in this presentation, this use of the real life people, again, people love to see themselves. So, and their family is going to love to see their lovely picture of their son or daughter, as long with the proud flag of their country showing up while they're doing this. So again, another great use of data to connect at a deeper level, deeper basis with your audience. So number 9, I'm going to talk to a few ways to maybe bring time data into your presentation. So first off, you can measure like how many days since your last accident, what's gone on. You can build that right into your presentation. So if you're presenting on safety in your factory, that's a kind of a number of data information that's really critical. You could be counting down to your new opening, your event, what's going on. I wouldn't suggest you use seconds in most cases, but you count it down in seconds, days, hours, however you want. You can include time zone data, live in real time. What time is it here? What time is it in New York? What time is it in London, England? So you can include that as well. Another method of putting live data is to put weather right into your presentations. And you can do this with common weather feeds like Yahoo Weather. And again, our data point tool actually works to connect your PowerPoint to the weather. So as the weather changes, this will update in real time. And you can even have it change the little icons here. So if it's cloudy, it can show a cloudy icon. If it's snowing or raining, it can show that as well. Now, I promised you 10, but obviously since I'm not like a serious data guy, I can't count. So I'm going to give you a few more. You can link to live images on the internet as well in your presentation. So this could be used for something like, in this case, I'm showing a Doppler radar, but it could also be real-time fire information. I think somebody had said that they were having to put fire information up on PowerPoint, and this would be a way to take any sort of live picture, live data information, live number information, and put it into an ongoing running presentation. Sports. This is a photo from a BMW golf tournament where they're using our data point software to connect in real time to their leaderboard to show up on a huge screen that they're projecting, what's going on. So you can do live sports scores, live information that's going on there at your sporting event. Webcams, you can also include webcam information if you want to show people what's going on outside, show people coming into your event, show people what's going on. If you're doing a presentation about how you're helping in Africa, you could have a webcam showing live what's happening there right now. You could have live webcams out in nature where you're showing things. So start to think of, wow, I could be showing live information that way as well. Disaster relief, the Mexican Red Cross uses PowerPoint presentation and connecting with our tools, uses to show what's going on, safety information, calls for volunteers, the latest information on the disaster. So they're able to keep people notified that way as well. And automated financial or other presentations. Meet Kevin Garland, who's the president of Bayside Associates. It's a financial services company in Alberta, Canada, near me. And he used to do these custom presentations for potential clients based on their age, their net worth, other information about them, family, what family members they have, stuff like that. It used to take him 8 to 10 hours to pull together these presentations, and it was his time. Like, he had to be the person going through and doing it. And now he uses automated data systems using our tools and does the same thing in about 20 minutes of his time, and plus he has a staff member do most of the work, so it doesn't tie up his time much at all. And talking to machines. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the Industry 1.0 to 4.0 progression, but Industry 1.0 happened in the late 1700s. We started to mechanize industry instead of everything being handmade. We got steam power, we got the weaving loom, a bunch of things that changed from doing everything by hand into doing it automated, automated working this way. Industry 2.0 happened in the late 1800s, electrical energy, mass production, assembly lines, all these things kicked in. Industry 3.0 was where we started to connect this and automate this and connect it to computers and connect it to electronics. Industry 4.0 is where there's the Internet of Things. Everything's being connected to networks. It's cyber physical systems. And yes, you've probably guessed it, it's learning how to communicate with our new robot overlords. So interestingly, how would you connect with this kind of stuff in in a presentation? Well, there's actually um, a system out there called OPC data, which is OPC stands for Open Platform Communications, and it's a system for communicating in real time with industrial digital computers. So this information in the manufacturing computers is there. You can tap it, you can connect to it, and then you can connect that to a presentation. So how might this be used? Well, this is an example of one of our clients, HD Supply. And what they've done is they set up real-time monitoring of their manufacturing processes and their assembly line. So they're grabbing the information in real time from all of their manufacturing machines, and they've got dashboards just on standard televisions with little computers attached to them to show this in real time. And you see some of these have a red light on them. That would be where something is below par, so they can see at a glance if something's running at the right levels. So really, any PowerPoint box or image can be connected to data using our DataPoint tool in order to do this. And you see here, there's a few examples. You can connect to a Google Calendar, Google Sheets, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access. So there's a lot of different ways to be able to connect and think about all the data that's out there. I mean, on the web, there's RSS feeds, there's weather feeds, XML, JSON, Facebook, Twitter, Google Calendar, Google Sheets. We've mentioned Excel and Access, but there's also Exchange and Outlook and SQL Server and Microsoft SharePoint and comma-separated files at MySQL, OBDC. All of these can be connected directly to your PowerPoint. So you can be feeding data directly into your PowerPoint. So any questions about what we've talked about today? Any thoughts on how you could incorporate more data into your presentations? I like the idea Myrna made about people liking to see themselves on the screen or their own information on the screen or things personalized for them. That's really huge. Yeah, data for dashboards, for monthly information. So these are often called KPIs, or key performance indicators. So you might take some time to say, well, what are the key things I need to track on an ongoing basis? So, and then you can decide what those will be. If it's sales, profits, employee turnover, inventory turnover, like there's a bunch of key things that can indicate where you've got a problem or what's working really well. So being able to have that information automatically updating on an ongoing basis is huge. Market research information, yes, you can have that kind of data, the product launch information for cross-functional team. Melody mentions, yes, all of these are great ways that you could be incorporating more data. I should mention as well, my colleague, Kurt DuPont, the founder of PresentationPoint, is doing a presentation tomorrow at 12 p.m. Mountain called The Simplest Way to Make Real-Time Data Presentations. And he's actually going to show you actual examples. He's going to show you step by step how some of these kinds of things are done. So if you're interested in the data aspect of putting into presentations, I strongly recommend that you attend his session tomorrow so that you can do that. And yeah, big data. We talk about big data and being so important, and this is exactly it. Big data has become so key because there's so many different things. I mean, cities use updated data to plan neighborhoods. How many schools do we need? How many hospitals do we need? What infrastructure do we need? I mean, data just feeds so many different things, and being able to do data in real time in your presentations is huge. And with these presentations as well, so we've talked about PowerPoint, but remember, PowerPoint can be used as digital signage, either just simply by just putting it up on monitors and screens, or by using a tool like our iPoint software, which is digital signage software that's PowerPoint compatible. So don't just think, oh, well, that's only on PowerPoint. That would only be if I'm doing a presentation. No, these screens can be up all the time, as we showed you with, HD Supply had these up in real time. And by the way, HD Supply said that by monitoring their manufacturing in real time, they actually were able to, increase their productivity by 25%. Oops, going the wrong way there. Here we go. So if you want more information on data and PowerPoint, how to use data in presentations, you can visit presentationpoint.com. And my email address is garland@presentationpoint.com. If anybody would like to reach out, if you got a data idea, you're not sure, is this doable, Garland? Pop me a line. Happy to help. Happy to even work out a little demo for you so that we can show you how that would work. You mentioned, Myrna mentioned real time versus old news, even if it's a few minutes ago. And that's a big thing too. Like, imagine you going off to do a presentation at your West Coast office. You've flown from New York to Los Angeles, and you open up and you're doing a presentation on, well, here's our profit for the last quarter, and somebody says, well, the new profit numbers came out today. Why don't you have those? And that's a good point. You should have had those numbers. They should have been in your presentation. But to do that manually takes a lot of work. Whereas if you had that information feeding directly into your presentation and it would update in real time, then that would have a huge impact. And specifically with news, Myrna, you can actually display news as well. So there's some of our clients have set up within their organizations where they're showing the latest news, weather updates, what's going on, and you can choose news from a wide range of sources online, like CNN or BBC or whoever your preferred news provider is, and you can choose the type of news that you want, like if it's tech news or manufacturing news or whatever the field is, you can choose that as well. So any questions about data in presentations? Well, we're waiting for more questions. I'll just mention what we're doing tomorrow. So tomorrow we're starting at 11 a.m. and our first session will be 7 secrets of using images in PowerPoint. That's Gitish Bajaj is teaching that. And images are my kryptonite when it comes to presentations, so I'm looking forward to that one. Kurt at noon will be doing the simplest way to make real-time data presentations, so you can see in real time what happens when he updates a PowerPoint, what happens, how he creates them, how it connects to the data. That will be a really in-depth look at that. Sharon Fitzpatrick has best practices on how to transition to online presenting. So if you're used to standing up in front of a crowd and doing your presentations, but now you're gonna have to do webinars, Sharon will have some great tips on that. And tomorrow I'm going to share the lazy man's method to fast, easy content creation. And I've worked out some techniques to create content for my presentations very quickly, very quick ways to get decent content. And I'm going to share them with you because I'm really focused on doing things with the least amount of effort possible to get really good content happening quickly. So. Any questions about general presenting, thoughts, comments, ideas? Thanks for the all good points, Myrna, and thought-provoking Melody. That's awesome. So, thanks, Chantel. Yeah, DataPoint is a really nice tool. So DataPoint is a PowerPoint add-on. So if you go to the PresentationPoint website at presentationpoint.com and you click on software, you can see all the different softwares that we have here. And So we've got DataPoint, which is for dynamic presentations for what I've talked about today. iPoint, which is for digital signage. Dynamic Elements, which is for connecting things like weather and turning your PowerPoints into a jukebox, RSS things, stuff like that. And we've got a lot of other ones here as well, so look for the one you want. But DataPoint particularly is a very powerful tool. It's our best-selling software that we have. And DataPoint basically lets you connect pretty much anything on your PowerPoint to live information. So it's used for info screens, KPI dashboards, menu boards, all that. So I did try to record this. If the recording failed, I'll do it again and do a recording of it to make sure that it happens, Valerie. And we'll make sure that we email out the link on how to get there. And as I mentioned, we've got some of the world's leading companies working with us. We've got over 10,000 clients worldwide. And so our client list includes like NASA, SpaceX, Microsoft, Booking.com, Coca-Cola, Porsche, New York Stock Exchange. So these are just some of the people who use our DataPoint tool to connect to PowerPoint to do these kinds of things. Our blog also has a lot of great information on how our clients are using this. For example, the City of Winter Springs set up a within their town council meetings, they set up something for all the different speakers to be able to put them in, through at the right times to control how long they speak and when they can speak and do that kind of thing. We've also got tons more of these. We've also helped somebody on how to get camera output from telephones into PowerPoint. We've also, we already mentioned the one about the PowerPoint certificates. We mentioned HD supply. So there's just tons of these ones here, reception areas. So they're used in a lot of these places. So. Any final questions on presenting, data, PowerPoint? Okay, I guess that's our final session for today. So hopefully we'll see you guys again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain. Thanks so much for attending, and thanks for all the great questions. Glad you got back in, Chantel. I was worried since you said your power cut out. I was really glad the power didn't cut out well during your presentation. Thanks, Victor. Glad to hear it. Yeah, Kurt, thanks. And you get to be in the hot seat tomorrow to do your presentation. Somebody sent a note saying, why didn't you build a break-in so we could go get lunch? So I grabbed mine when one of the other presenters was presenting. But yes, maybe if we do this the next time, when we do it next time, we'll have to build in maybe a little bit of a break somewhere in it so people can get this. Thanks, Jerry Erickson. I'm glad that these were useful. I really enjoyed the 3 presentations earlier. I got so much out of Chantel's and Ellen's and Troy's sessions. It was really cool to see the big screens that Troy did, and the Zoom feature in PowerPoint was one I hadn't really used that much. And the modern look. I think most of those I'm using, but some of them it was great to look at why I'm doing them that way, and it makes a big difference because if I'm at a conference and I see somebody do the bullet point slides, it just drives me crazy. I just about want to walk out. Okay, bye for now, guys. We'll see you next time. Yeah, it's difficult. I set the time zone to for mountain. The reason is I'm in mountain, so it was simpler for me to know when I'm starting and finishing, and because I'm the one who had to be here and introduce everybody and do everything. So I know that that's difficult. I used to be in Pacific, so maybe people are a little more used to Pacific. I'm not sure, and that's a drawback. We did try on the website to put up three different the three different ones. I think we had Mountain and Eastern, or can't remember, Central, and then GMT. We had about three of them up there, but we'll have to look at that next time and see if there's a better way to do it. And even it's very easy to make a mistake, even just during conversions. And I find that when I'm working with clients, because our clients are around the world, right? And often we mess up and somebody's an hour difference. So. Oh, somebody asked a question: is PresentationPoint sold by subscription or a flat fee? So DataPoint and iPoint are both sold by a flat fee. It's a one-time fee, and you get unlimited support with that as well. So that's that's the nice thing there, is you just pay once. You don't have to pay every month. You just buy it once. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to get replays for most of this. If the recording failed, and it might have failed because I actually had a breakdown on my computer where I had to restart, so we'll see what happened. If that failed, I'll get notes from most of the presenters, or in the case of mine, I'll just do a voiceover for my presentation. So we'll have a video one way or the other. So. Yeah, and it's hard to take 4 hours out of a day and watch all of them too. I mean, it's worth it, but it helps if you can get recordings of them later on, or the notes from later on, and go through them. So. Okay, I'm going to close it now because there's no more questions, no more comments. I'm closing off. See you guys tomorrow.